Psalms 139 verses 13 to 16. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret, intricately woven in the depth of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. Abortion was a hot topic in 2022. On the 24th of June, in a 5-4 decision, the US Supreme Court overturned the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling that established the constitutional right to abortion. Since then, abortion is permitted during the first 2 trimesters of pregnancy in the United States of America. In another ruling, with a 6-3 majority, the court upheld a Mississippi law that bans abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. While the conservatives celebrate, the reaction in the liberal camp ranges from disbelief to vitriolic anger. President Joe Biden condemned the decision. The mainstream media, most of which are liberal, labeled the decision as controversial, claiming that it would change the lives of millions of American women. The headline in The Economist reads, "The Supreme Court's judicial activism will deepen cracks in America." In some social media posts, calls were made to kill the conservative judges. The reaction is emotionally charged and it borders on irrationality. Why should a decision to protect unborn babies from being brutally killed in their mother's wombs spark such an outrage? Besides, overturning Roe v. Wade does not put an end to abortion. It is not a wholesale ban on abortion. Rather, it pushes the decision to the individual states, which will now have the power to set their own abortion laws. While conservative states will either ban abortion completely or put a shorter-term limit on it, the liberal states will continue to permit abortion, even up to late term. Though abortion is not banned completely, the US Supreme Court decision is seen by many conservatives as a moral victory. Abortion is no longer a constitutional right. Why do I, as a non-American, care about the US Supreme Court's decision? The reason is simple. Whatever happens in the United States very often has implications for the rest of the world, especially for the advanced economies. Consider the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, which legalized abortion for the first time in human history. That momentous ruling reverberated throughout the world. Many countries, including Singapore, followed suit. Since then, more than 60 million babies have been aborted in the US alone. Hundreds of millions more are killed worldwide. This decision of just a few US justices has shaped the way a big segment of humanity thinks about babies in the womb. They can be conveniently discarded for the most frivolous reasons. For example, it is an unwanted pregnancy. Many women abort their babies without having a second thought about it, with no qualms and no guilt feelings. What is the justification for abortion? It is usually framed as a woman's right. She has the right to do whatever she wants to her own body. She has the freedom of choice. No one has any business telling her what she can or cannot do. But what about the rights of unborn babies? Don't the babies in the wombs also have rights? Often, the argument is that a fetus is not a human being. and therefore it cannot be accorded any human rights. The logical follow-up questions are: when does a fetus become a human being? When does a fetus possess consciousness? When can it feel pain? Where is the cutoff point when abortion should not be permitted? As many of us have become aware, there is no end to the debate. The goalpost keeps shifting as more convincing evidence reveals that a fetus can feel during the early stages of pregnancy. The progressives, as the liberals are now called, shifts the humanity question of the fetus back one full circle to the rights of the mother. Of late, you hear pro-choice people using phrases like bodily autonomy and my body, my choice in discussions concerning the issue of abortion. Do they really believe what they say? I doubt so. I've observed that most of the passionate pro-abortion crowd are also pro-LGBT rights and pro-COVID-19 vaccine mandate. They insist that everyone must be jabbed even if it is against their wish. Whatever happens to bodily autonomy and my body, my choice. This is not a discussion about vaccines, but I'm just pointing out the irony of their argument and their hypocrisy. So, what is the biblical stand on abortion? How does God view abortion? Life begins at conception. In other words, a fetus has life, even in its earliest stage upon conception. Psalms 139 describes poetically how God formed us in our mother's wombs. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are woven together intricately. From the moment of our conception, our days were ordained by God and recorded in His book. If life begins at conception, then abortion is murder. God has an opinion concerning murder. He forbids anyone from taking the life of another person. Humans are created in the image of God. Thus, life is sacred. The sanctity of human life is enshrined in the 10 Commandments. The 6th commandment reads, "You shall not murder." God demands the blood of the murderer. "And for your lifeblood, I will require a reckoning. From every beast, I will require it, and from man. From his fellow man, I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in His image." This is the basis, the biblical basis for capital punishment. The same principle applies to intentional harm inflicted upon a pregnant woman, whereupon her unborn baby dies. Look at this Old Testament law. When men strive together and hit a pregnant woman so that her children come out, but there is no harm, the one who hit her shall surely be fined, as the woman's husband shall impose on him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. But if there is harm, then you shall pay life for life. A life for a life. Notice that the unborn child is accorded the same rights as a normal human being. The fetus or unborn baby is considered a human being in the eyes of the Creator God. The law underscores the assertion that life begins at conception. The Word of God is unmistakably clear. Abortion is murder. It is the shedding of innocent blood, which the Lord hates and considers abominable. No reasoning and rhetoric can justify the barbarism of killing defenseless babies in a womb. In a civilized society, the freedom of choice does not include the right to murder. Nobody in his right mind would think otherwise. The same argument ought to apply to abortion. Women can have the choice to do whatever they want to their bodies, except to abort their babies. Even in the case of rape, there is no moral justification for abortion. Rape is a heinous crime. We sympathize with the victims of rape and their predicament. There is no question that the rapist must be severely punished. However, the unborn child is innocent. Aborting the baby will certainly mitigate the victim's shame and shorten her pain. However, murder is still murder. It is wrong to kill, and hence abortion is unjustified.